This is Christopher Richter of Board Gaming for the Win, coming at you with another Red Nose Day tutorial. And this time, the game that I'm going to be introducing to you is from Alderac Entertainment Group, and it is called Valley of the Kings. It is a deck building game based on entombing things from pyramids over in Egypt. So it's based on Egyptian lore. There's statues, there's weaponry, all kinds of neat little things. So let's get right to the game. So right now, AEG has two versions of Valley of the Kings out. There's Valley of the Kings, which is the original version, and then Valley of the Kings Afterlife, which is a standalone or an expansion for the original. It's designed by Tom Cleaver. And now, with Valley of the Kings Afterlife, it is for 1 to 4 players. The original was not. And it has solo rules in it, so you can play by yourself. Or you can add in another extra couple players, because the base decks that are introduced in the first one could only hold up to 4 players. Well, this one, you can add more. Now, if everyone is familiar, or even if you're not, with deck building games, each player will be given a set of 10 basic cards. Now, each of these cards, they're all the same order. Players will be given 4 shop teas, 3 urns, 2 boxes of food, and an offering table. When players receive this, they will shuffle it up and get ready to draw 5 cards. Now, once all players have their cards drawn, a pyramid from the main stack will be built, and it will be built downwards. So you'll lay out 1, 2, and then 3. Now, in your base of the pyramid, this is what you are going to be purchasing from. The cost of the cards is going to be in the top right-hand corner, and you can see on the base cards, they have a point value of how much they are worth when you're purchasing something. So the golden scarab is worth basically one monies that will contribute to the purchase of something in the stack. Now, at the bottom of your base cards, it'll tell you a starter, and it's worth 1 victory point at the end of the game if you have it in your tomb. So I'll get to that in a minute. The starter cards are your stack of level 1 cards. The cards you will start out in the middle of the game will be your level 2, and then the level 3 once you get to your level 3 cards. That means that the cards are going to get harder to buy. They're also going to be a lot harder to combine and play, and they're going to be a lot tougher against other players in the game. But once you get down to your 3rd level cards, you will be able to figure out that the end of the game is going to be coming within 15 to 20 minutes. Now, the way this works is that a player will draw 5 base cards into their hand at the beginning of the game. Now, some of these cards have different things that they can do. The shop tea, when played, can either be played for a coin, or can be played to swap 2 cards in the pyramid, or sacrifice a card in the pyramid. Now, when you sacrifice a card, it will be put over into the boneyard, which is basically the main discard pile. The urns will, when played, can either be worth 1 coin, or they can be put on the top of the top card of your discard pile can be put onto your deck. Box of food, which there's only 2 cards in the base deck. You can sacrifice a card in your hand and tomb a card with a lower cost. And then the hardest card to get into your hand from your base is the offering table. When an opponent's action would cause you to discard or sacrifice, reveal offering table to prevent this action from affecting you. So if there was a card that says you had to discard something, you just reveal it. Everyone will then find out that you have the offering table and you don't have to discard. So, but everyone else will be given a tomb. So all players will receive their 10 base cards, and then you get a tomb. Any cards that you entomb during your turn will go under your tomb. So this kind of stays public knowledge. So in a round, you have a chance to get cards and put those into your discard pile. Any cards that you do play during your turn will lay out in front of you. They do not go to the discard pile, because these cards can be played again or can be moved back and forth from your end tomb or back into your hand. Some cards can be copied, but those will be actions that some of these cards will have during the game. So, for example, say I want this purple card. This is a unique one. It is the Hounds and Jackals game. It costs 6. Now, right now, I cannot purchase it, but it does have the unique value on it. So, with the unique cards, there's only one of each of these cards in the entire set. And it is worth 3 victory points at the end of the game if it is entombed. So, let's use the Tiet Amulet, for example. It is an amulet, and there's only 5 sets of amulets in the game. So it does cost 5. It's worth 2 gold when played, or it can be played for its action. Now this is how you would play. I have 5 cards in my hand, so I have 5 coins. I do want that. However, I'm not going to be able to purchase it this turn. Now, in order for myself or someone else to purchase it, they're going to have that much, but it's going to have to be in the bottom row. Now, I do have 5, and there's only, well, I can grab any one of the 3 that are in the base. And I believe that I'm going to start out with the Book of Gates. So, I'll use 3 cards. I'll leave those out. I will grab the Book of Gates, put that in my discard pile. And after I do that, I decide which one of these cards will crumble downwards. So, I will do this. I will crumble down the Burial Ceremony, and then my unique card of Hounds and Jackals games will fall below. This will stay empty as long as it is your turn. So the 3 cards that I played are going to stay out. Now I still have 2 cards that I can play. So in order for me to play these cards, I'm going to have to either use them for their ability or for their monies. But there's nothing out there that costs 2. And unlike most deck builders, you don't have any universal or generic pile that people can purchase from. So, I'm going to take, and I'm going to use the power on one of these. I'm going to take and sacrifice the Hounds and Jackal game, so no one can get it. It goes to the Boneyard. Now, there are some cards that will allow you to remove cards from the Boneyard, either to put into your deck, your tomb, or put back into the game. Now, I do have 1 card left over, and it is another Shop T. The only action I can play with the Shop T is, well, there's 2 actions. I can either not play it and then just discard it along with the rest of them, or I can entomb it, which I'm going to entomb it by sticking it underneath of my tomb, which starts my tomb pile, and it will build upwards, and this is where you're going to get your in-game points from. So at the end of my turn, just like any other player's turn, the tomb will be built back up, and then it will be the next player's turn. Everything that I played on that turn will go into my discard pile. Now, end of game works like this. Once the main deck is empty, and once the last card from the pyramid is gone, you can, or the game ends. Now, if it's uneven turns, everyone gets at least one play round. Now, once all that's done, then everyone will go to their tomb, and they will count up their sets. Now, a set works like this. Starter cards and unique cards are only worth what they are worth, what it says they're worth. So this is worth 1 victory point. That unique card would only be worth 3 victory points. Now, a set, for example, would be these weapons. Now, the weapons, there are 6 cards in a set. So you would take the cards that you have, say, I had all 3 of these weapons in my tomb. They are worth 3 points apiece because you have started a set. Now, if I only had 2, they would be worth 2 points apiece. If I had 1 point. So if you had all 6 of them, they would be worth 6 points apiece, which is 36 points, which is pretty good when you're playing this game. You want to try to collect as many sets as you can. Now, there are doubles of these, so there are 2 axes, 2 slings. There's 2 almost of every card except for the uniques. When you get a double, if you happen to get a double, only 1 of those cards is worth anything. So you cannot have 2 slings and say it's a set. It's not. One of the slings is discarded when you're counting points, and the other one is just worth whatever or however many points you have in those sets. Another interesting tidbit here that I want to give you real fast is that if no one changes the pyramid at any time during the game on their turn, so say at the end of my turn I could not purchase anything. Now if I move something, if I swapped cards, that's changing the pyramid. But if I had not done anything, or my opponents do not do anything in their turn, they must decide on discarding one of those cards and putting it into the boneyard at the end of their turn. That just helps move the game along faster. Well, thank you for joining me for this tutorial. I have much more to come. You can follow along, of course, on YouTube, because I have several other Red Nose Day tutorials. You can follow my exploits on Twitter at boardgaming_FTW, and you can read my reviews at wordpress.com under Board Gaming for the Win. You can listen to my podcasts on Google Play Music, Podcast Garden, and Board Game Geek. So thank you once again, and have a wonderful day.